You can't go changing the rules.
That's Joe.
Let him speak his mind. That's when you learn about people is when they're drunk. Then you realize who you're hired.
And that's Eric.
I was thinking about this earlier today, and I have to bring it up.
And they're two guys with two mics and one off-the-rails sports podcast.
Like, if you're older than 11 years old, unless you have body paint on or something, you're not warranted to go nuts on the jumbo
No,
street.
of course not.
Kick back and relax, because you're in the wheelhouse.
Oh, yes, that is right. Eric and Joe back again for another episode of In the Wheelhouse. Great stuff. I'm Eric. He's Joe. We're going to talk tons of baseball, some greatest teams ever, would you rathers, maybe a little NFL here and there. Before we get after that, Joe, how are you doing, buddy?
I am doing great. It's Thursday night. One more day until the weekend. I'm doing awesome right now.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty pumped for the weekend. I'm going to the concert, but it's an outdoor concert, and it's supposed to be raining this weekend.
What concert are you going to?
I'm going to this little rock festival out in San Bernardino.
And who's playing?
Oh, it's like Devil Wears Prada, August Burns Red, Day to Remember. So my high school days. Yeah, it's like my high school Eric is going to come out this weekend. Except
Cool,
I can
man.
actually legally drink and enjoy it.
That sounds like fun.
No, it'll be fun, except San Bernardino is supposed to be like 40 degrees out this weekend and wet.
Yeah, but you get a few beers and it'll warm you right up.
Yeah, warm myself from the inside out. But real quick before we get into some baseball talk, I know we got a big baseball show coming up. I know, don't run away, people. Baseball talk, it's okay. You can listen. Have you seen any of the early videos coming out of the NFL Combine?
I have seen a little bit. Hold on one second. There's some shit going on with my mic. Do you keep?
Yeah, I'm hearing.
Are you getting like clicks on my end?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Hold on a second. Is that better?
Yeah, you sound good now.
Okay. Well, you just ask me that question again.
Okay. So, Joe, have you seen any of the videos coming out? I know it's still early in the NFL Combine. A lot of stuff gets going tomorrow into the weekend, but have you seen any of the glorified underwear Olympics of these guys running around doing bench presses and stuff?
I have seen some of the video, and what really impressed me this year was someone went out there and ran a 4.2940, which is insane. I think that's the fastest time ever recorded at the Combine.
Yeah, I'm in shock with how fast these guys are sometimes. And then today, speaking of fast, Saquon Barkley did his bench press, running back out of Penn State, 225 pounds, 29 reps.
Guy's a beast.
I don't think I've repped 225 pounds in my life, like combined. Ever.
Let alone 29 times.
Yeah,
right?
let alone 29 times consecutively. And then on top of it all, he's only doing it for his career, so he's probably got nerves through the roof. But I don't want to say love, because I actually feel kind of bad watching this stuff, because it makes me feel like a total slob and slouch watching how just physically fit these teenagers are coming out of college.
Yeah, they are freaks of nature. They are absolute Roman warriors, for lack of a better term. They are amazing. And the funny thing about it, the Combine, is none of the activities or the tests that they have these guys doing really equates over to football. I mean, yeah, you run in football and you sprint, and yeah, you jump in football to go up there and jump for passes and stuff like that, but none of them really are football drills
No.
or anything like that. It's
they really aren't. They really just come out and get poked and prodded and interviewed for really no reason. I read a thing earlier this week, and it was like a draft analyst guy, and he's like, if you go into the Combine and your grades for a player change that dramatically based on what you see this weekend, you're doing everything wrong, like completely wrong.
Like, what have you been doing the rest of the season for your grades to completely change like that?
Just watching tapes in reverse.
And why is the Combine, which has no football in it at all, changing your thoughts about your scouting report when you're watching him play football? Like, where's the correlation
Yeah,
there?
you have hours and hours and hours of tapes on this guy. And,
I guess.
Oh, you saw this cone drill? Hold on, he's a B+ now instead of a C.
Right, and I guess the only drill at the combine that is somewhat football related are the passing drills for the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But bench press, for instance, I mean, I understand it shows how much strength they have, but how is bench press going to equate to going out there and catching a pass, or going out there and returning a punt return, or like, there's got to
be one guy out there that just knows he's crap at like the shuttle drill, the cone drill. He knows he's going to blow the interview because he gets nervous in groups of people and stuff like that, and he's like, but I can bench press the hell out of 225. He's like, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna make a splash. I'm gonna put this up like 30 times.
Yep.
And I'm still gonna be like a D+ prospect.
I could bench press, and you know what? I could box jump too, and I'm gonna get up there and hit those things, whatever they're called, and I'm gonna go from a C+ to a B- all day.
I just don't get why they have like the linemen do it. Like the 40,
the
like
jump. The 40, yeah.
Like in general, like the long jump, the 40, and why do these guys need to be in the skin tight, like leotard, basically?
Because it's a way to embarrass them.
When was the last time you were talking to a defensive or an offensive lineman, and they were worried about aerodynamics? Like, oh, dude, everything's gotta be nice and tight, man. They're coming off the line, that like 0.2 coming off the line with the shirt, the jersey hang. I got to cut it off. It needs to be tight.
Taking off way too much time off your 40, man. Taking off way too much time for you to get out there and set a block. You can't get out there in front of your running back. It's going to take off way too much time. Get him into some spanks.
Honestly, I want to ask linemen and be like, okay, since the combine, when was the last time you sprinted, even jogged 40 yards at one time? When was the last time it happened? It's pointless to me. I get it. Okay, you want to just be able to stack them up, but linemen running 40s, it's really, because like you said, let's embarrass them and put them in tight shirts and watch them jiggle 40 yards.
I'll be honest with you, though, watching the linemen run the 40 is probably my favorite part of the combine for some reason. Me being a big guy and seeing those big guys motor down the field like they do. Some of them have got speed. Dude, some of them can move.
You know what? Yeah, I want to retract a lot of, not retract it, but yeah, we're really making fun of this. But they're also we're pegging them as like the doughboys of the weekend.
They're athletes.
We open this by saying these guys are athletes. Like, they're there because of a reason. And yeah, they do run fast. Like, they probably run the 40 faster than me. So figure these 250, 300-pound guys, they're like a small car coming at you when they're running this fast. It's like a Fiat coming down the field.
Yeah, there's some guys that are pushing, 315, 330, running the 40, and running the 40 in 5.5 seconds, something like that. Man, that's hard to stop. If you're a defensive, like a linebacker, and you have a guy that big coming at you at that speed, what do you do? What do you do?
I love it when you get offensive linemen coming out on screen passes, and you get 3 of them in front of the running back or the wide receiver. And once they get down the field and they're lined up against, the DBs or the safeties, they chuck these guys.
Yeah.
They drop a shoulder and literally throw them down the field.
They make them fly 10 yards away.
Let alone it's hopefully wall. You get pushed off the line when this comes at you. If they have any kind of head of steam, get off the tracks, bro, because they're coming. Get off the tracks.
It's definitely entertaining to watch by far. It definitely makes it the reporters and the media coverage of the upcoming draft kind of spin in circles a little bit with all the different perspectives of different players and where their draft pick is actually going to land and where people predict them to land. It's fun. It's fun for the fans, and I'm looking forward to the NFL draft this year.
Yeah, it at least gives us another weekend of football. This would be a really, really dead time. But outside of football, this does give us stuff to talk about. But there's a whole new season ramping up, Joe. And it's spring training. Baseball is here. There's plenty of baseball highlights floating around now with spring training. Russell Wilson's in a Yankees jersey, having the time of his life.
Do you see him at batting practice? Those videos of him at batting practice?
Yeah, dude, he was
hitting
crushing
some
it.
bombs.
He was crushing it, man. Oh, before we get into this, we're gonna get into some pitching talk. If you were Russell Wilson and you were here this weekend in New York, right, living it up, living out your childhood dream, finally playing for the Yankees. If you're out at second base in the infield, taking BP with Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, you're really ripping these balls. And then you think, man, I run for my life a lot in Seattle. Man, I get hit a lot in Seattle. Man, I could totally see living in New York with Sierra as a member of the New York Yankees.
I don't think he's even thinking about that. No.
Not even a little bit?
Because I don't
Would you be nervous if you're Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll today was talking about, dude, I think it's awesome. Let him go have fun. But what if he has a little too much fun? What if he's like, dude, this is fun. I'm not getting hit. I'm not running for my life behind a crappy O-line.
I can almost guarantee you that thought has gone through his head many times, especially last time he was at spring training with the Rangers. And the fact that he didn't go there already tells me that it's not really an option for him. I think he's enjoying himself as being one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. Because to be completely honest with you, from what I've seen him on the baseball field, he's not an elite level player. I think he enjoys being an elite level player more than some mediocre scrub.
There's a lot of guaranteed money that in baseball that's not in football. He's got a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, but I guarantee you the guaranteed money he's getting in football now is more than what he would get in the MLB.
He's got enough already, though. I mean, he could probably go and make league minimum and still be happy as a part of the Yankees.
For sure. You're probably right there. But
if I was Pete Carroll, dude, I would be sending him a text every day like, hey, don't have too much fun. Your flight back's coming up in a couple weeks. You better be on it.
Just mess with him, right? Just totally pull out all of the baseball knocks on when people talk crap about baseball. It's a long season, right? You play 162 games, and in NFL you only play 16.
162.
Only play 16.
Long games, 4 hours sometimes.
No breaks, no off days.
No summer.
No summer, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Seattle, man. It's cold over here. Wait, wrong way. No, wrong, sorry.
All right, so jumping into baseball, I got into a little bit of a Twitter feud with some random people on Twitter today. The Athletic, which is a Major League Baseball reporting network.
They have some for every sport.
Okay, so they released a story today linking Jake Arrieta to the Nationals, because there has been rumors that the Nationals are pushing for Jake Arrieta to add him to their rotation. The headline went, if the Nats land Jake Arrieta, does that make them the number one rotation in the league? My response to that is yes, and the only other team that could compete with them is Houston. But then I started thinking, there's a lot of teams out there with really good staffs. So my question to you, Eric, is who is the best staff in baseball? And when you think about this, I want you to put Jake Arrieta with the Nationals and give me your answer.
Okay. So we were talking a little bit about this before, and like you said, we were thinking about things, and we would rattle off one rotation, and then remember, oh crap, there's that team, and then oh crap, there's that team. So off the top, I'm gonna give the best rotation in Major League Baseball to. I'm gonna give it to. I know we're gonna agree, but I feel like a lot of these are 1A, 1B's kind of situations because the Astros are stacked. Stacks. McCullers, Keuchel, Verlander, Morton,
Garrett Cole
picked up this year. They were already stacked, and they pick up Garrett Cole in the offseason. But then you look at the Nationals, who are also stacked. Scherzer, Strasburg, could add Arrieta, Gio Gonzalez, Roark. And then you have, we were rattling off 4 or 5, and then we sitting there like, dude, what about the Indians?
Yeah.
Kluber, Carrasco. Who am I missing on this one?
Trevor Bauer.
As long as Trevor Bauer doesn't have a drone incident, he's good.
Yeah, drones are getting pretty popular though, so he might happen to have another one.
Yeah, and then then we brought up the Yankees. Tanaka, CC, Severino, Sonny Gray. I don't know, man.
There's so many teams.
Of course, and it makes sense that we're naming playoff teams. Like, these are all teams who were in the mix late into the playoffs.
Right.
But, I mean, I think I have to agree with you. Houston Astros, seeing what they did and seeing what every single one of them is a shutdown player. When's your off day? When are you looking at a pitching matchup and saying, okay, there's our win for a series?
Right. And there's so many good staffs right now in baseball. I mean, we just rattled off a few with the Houston and the Yankees, and you didn't even mention the Cubs with Yu Darvish and Lester and Kendricks and Quintana and Chatwood. I mean, there's so many teams right now with good staffs, but if Arrieta was to land with the Nationals, I can't see any other team out there in the same tier as the Nationals and Houston. And the reason why I would say Houston has the better staff is because of that number 5 in Charlie Morton. Tanner Roark, yeah, he's a good number 5, but Charlie Morton in any other rotation is probably a number 3. In any other rotation is probably a number 3. Houston's rotation is so loaded that, like you said, there's no off day. It's you're going up against number 1 or number 2 every single day. And any team trying to compete with that is going to have a very tough time. But again, you look at the Nationals. If they were to land Arrieta, that's, in my eyes, that's 4 number 1 pitchers in your rotation with Scherzer and Strasburg, Arrieta, and Gio Gonzalez. With Houston, with Verlander, Keuchel, Garrett Cole, McCullers, their top 4, I would say that's probably 3 number 1s and a number 2. I'd say McCullers is probably a number 2. So if you look at the top 4, I'd probably put Nationals above Houston. But to close out the rotation with that 5th starter, Morton over Roark might squeak Houston into my number 1 spot.
Yeah, and that's what I like to look at. You look at pitching staffs, and that's when I look at anything. When I'm looking at Dodger schedules, I look at the pitching rotation. I'm like, okay, and I look, okay, where's the weak link? Where's the win? And with those, like you said, with those 2 rotations, Houston, I don't see an easy outing against any one of those. Roark, you can maybe beat up Roark a little bit. And then in general, like, you look at these, and okay, Yankees, CC, you could get to CC, but he could shut you down too. Severino, right. You could get to him, he could shut you down too also. Sonny Gray, kind of same thing. But Houston, man, it's like you're lucky to get 1 or 2 runs against these guys, if you even get 1 or 2 hits.
Yeah, and that team bashes too.
Yeah,
it's not like they're not going to put up runs either.
Yeah, if they have an off day, they're going to hit 5 home runs for you. Altuve will hit 3 in. Springer will knock a couple in. You know, it's.
And if they have an off day at the plate, you know their pitching staff's going to be there to limit the runs. That right there is probably the most complete ball club in baseball. The only issue that they're going to have is really their bullpen. Maybe, I mean, they have Ken Giles, they have Davinsky. Their bullpen is probably where their weakest part of their game is. Their pitching staff is loaded. Their batting lineup is loaded. This
is a team that lost 105 games multiple times in the last 5 years.
Right, and
trust the process. They're the 76ers of the MLB.
They are the definition of trust the process. They went hard at this rebuild, and it started all with Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve was the base of this rebuild. And then they went out there and got Springer. And then Correa. And those 3 have created this base in Houston this core, in Houston, that you put anybody around them and they're going to make them better right now.
I'm a little upset that, we haven't mentioned the Dodgers rotation in this, but this is me being a rational. I like to think of myself as a rational sports fan. I'm not one of the guys that are blinded by oh,
fandom.
this is my team. Yeah, this is my team. This is my fandom. They can do no wrong. They're the best in the league. Because honestly, you look at the Dodgers rotation. You have Kershaw, Wood, Hill, Maeda, Ryu. And they have this young kid, Bueller, that they're going to try to ease into the lineup this year.
They have Urias too.
Urias, yeah. But still, like I look at that rotation, and I'm like, Kershaw, okay, shut down. We'll give him the shutdown tag. But then it's like, okay, Wood last year was a shutdown guy, but before that, Maeda can get hit around, Ryu could get hit around, Urias has been hit around like plenty of times.
Right.
So it's like the Dodger rotation, if we could grab Jake Arrieta, dude, and he could be a solid number 2 guy, slide Wood into 3, Hill into 4, and then Ryu, Maeda kind of work their way in, try to battle for the last spot. I think that would be pretty good. And then I still don't even think it would stack up against the Astros. The Astros are stacked.
No one can really compete with the Astros.
Yeah, the Astros pitching rotation has got to be the best in the league, without a doubt.
I agree with you completely, Eric. The Houston Astros rotation is insane. Probably one of the best pitching staffs ever assembled. I was telling you before we recorded that there's one move that the Dodgers should make right now that would probably put their rotation into the next tier of talent, in my eyes.
Hold on real quick before I get you. Isn't it funny how we're talking about how like they're light years behind this team and they took them 7 games?
Yeah, right.
Like we're talking like these guys shouldn't be on the same field as them.
We wouldn't be talking about them being this good if they didn't make that move for Garrett Cole. Like they got better. You mean there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Houston got better in the offseason. And one move that the Dodgers should make right now to make themselves better is they don't need to go out there and sign Jake Arrieta. What they need to do is because they need to save that money to go after Bryce Harper next offseason. I already see that happening. Dodgers getting Bryce Harper. Could already see it happening.
Put your name on it. I'd be cool with that. I'd be 100% cool with that.
What they need to do is they need to take Alex Verdugo and ship him off to Tampa Bay for Chris Archer. That's what they need to do. Because right now, Verdugo really doesn't have a place in the outfield. That's his position. You have Puig, you have Chris Taylor, and you have Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp looks good right now in the offseason. He looks really good.
Yeah, he's making it really hard for them to get rid of him. They initially grabbed him, and they said, like, we don't have any play. They didn't have a stall for him, dude.
I know.
At the beginning of spring training, they didn't have a stall for him.
I think he's in the mode where, like, I'm going to show them. Like,
he's back
he
in
deserves
LA,
a
dude.
spot.
Like, why would he? Yeah, that'll motivate you to play hard.
My prediction is he starts for the Dodgers opening day. But to complete what my thought is, Verdugo doesn't have a spot in the outfield. And even if Matt Kemp leaves after next season, you go out there and sign Bryce Harper, Verdugo still doesn't have a spot. You know? Why don't you make him expendable, go out there, use him, and bring back a top-notch number 1 starter in Chris Archer, and now your rotation is Kershaw, Archer, Rich Hill, Alex Wood, and then flip-flop Maeda and Ryu at the number 5.
The Dodgers have had such a crowded outfield, dude. And they got Tolles back. Tolles tore his ACL or broke his ankle, whatever, like 2 weeks into the season last year, and he's back.
And they have Trace Thompson, and they have Jock Peterson. Right now, your starting outfield is Puig, Taylor, and Kemp, and your reserves are Verdugo, Peterson, Tolles, Thompson, and Kike Hernandez. Like, why hold them all? What's the purpose of this?
Yeah, no. They won't get rid of Kike because Kike is a utility guy. He can fill in everywhere on the field. Trace Thompson, he'll be in the minors.
But
honestly,
my thing
Andrew
is,
Tolles, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Andrew Tolles beats out somebody for an opening day spot.
Who's he going to beat out?
Kemp?
There's no way. No way. Have you looked at Kemp's stats from last year? And have you seen the videos and the images of him this year during spring training?
Dude, I'm telling you,
Matt Kemp
2
looks
years
like
ago, dude, Tolles was killing it. He was gonna have a career year last year if he didn't mess up his leg.
Matt Kemp looks like the Matt Kemp of 2011.
No, he doesn't, because he has cornrows now. Have you seen his hair?
I'm not talking about
dumb.
his actual appearance. I mean his playing, dude. 2016. In 2016, he had 35 home runs. That's just 2 years ago. Last year, he had a little bit of an injury plague. He only played 115 games. Only had 438 at bats, but he still put out 19 home runs, 64 RBIs in a bad Braves team. He hit 276. I mean, I don't see Andrew Toles beating him out.
I do, just because I think Toles is better.
You have no facts for that though. None.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude. Whatever. I think Toles will be on the opening day roster in the outfield.
I think that would be a bad move for the Dodgers. I honestly do. I think the Dodgers starting outfield needs to be Matt Kemp. Needs to be
Puig.
Chris Taylor, and needs to be Puig. I think that's.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not against that. I'm not against that. Like, if Kemp's putting up the numbers and he's in, don't get me like. I'm not saying the dude shouldn't be out there. If he's putting up the numbers and he gets in, do it. But I just feel like Toles will beat out somebody for an outfield spot, and it's not going to be Chris Taylor. Maybe he beats out Puig. But then again, I don't see Puig start sitting on the bench either.
Or what they do is they start Toles, and they move Chris Taylor to second base and put Forsythe on the bench.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, no, then again, like, you have Forsythe for his defense, because he's definitely not putting up numbers.
Chris Taylor's got plenty of defense.
No, I know, but like, if you're putting Logan Forsythe on the bench,
yeah,
like, he's just waste of a spot. Like,
you bring him in the ninth inning when you need that shutdown defense when you have a one-run league.
Oh, I know, but still, that's still a waste of a spot. Like, he's just going to be collecting dust.
Okay, but then you're wasting Toles, you're wasting Verdugo, you're wasting all these other players.
But
it's a which one do you want to waste?
Yeah, I'd rather waste Verdugo than Logan Forsythe.
You're
and
crazy.
I'd rather waste
Verdugo has been in the top echelon of your prospects over the last 2 or 3 years.
But in the outfield, dude, there's better players than him in the outfield.
Who?
Andrew Toles, Chris Taylor, Yasiel Puig.
Okay,
Kemp. According to you,
we've put it a staple. Kemp and Puig are getting the start in left and right. This is who's going to get the start in center. It's either going to be Chris Taylor, Verdugo, or probably Andrew Toles. One of those three.
So it'd be Taylor. You can't bench Taylor after last.
Okay, so you're saying then that Forsythe is more valuable to the Dodgers than Verdugo or Andrew Toles?
No, not valuable. I'm telling you, in the situation you were talking about, like, Logan Forsythe has to be at second.
Understood. But no. But what I'm saying is you can move Chris Taylor to third and put either Verdugo and Toles in center field, and that makes your lineup that much more potent.
Okay, so what are you doing with Justin Turner?
Stay at third.
You just said put Taylor at third.
No, second. Forsythe on the bench.
Okay, now we're back to the Logan Forsythe problem. Whatever, dude. Honestly, Logan Forsythe's not that important to me.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, put Chris Taylor at second and stick Verdugo or Toles or Peterson in center. You just said that Forsythe's not going to put up the numbers, so why is he in your lineup?
Defense.
A bat in the lineup is way more important to me than defense at second base.
It wasn't to the Dodgers in certain points of the playoffs, that's for sure.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But back to the reason why we're talking about this. So your best lineup or your best rotation is Houston. Correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I can't disagree with you there. I can't. Absolutely not.
And then, but if the Nationals get Arrieta, are you giving it to the Nationals?
In playoffs, yes. In regular season, no.
Okay. All right.
Because you cut off the fifth person in playoffs.
So if you were to rank them right now, I would rank them
1 through what? Let's do 1 through 5.
Yeah, let's do 1 through 5. I would go Houston.
And this is Nats with Arrieta, right?
Nats with Arrieta. Cubs. Yankees. No, Indians, Yankees. Dodgers? Question mark?
Wait a minute. So you didn't have Nationals in your
Yeah, I did.
your
I
top
said
five?
I said Nationals too. I went Astros, Nationals, Indians, Yankees, Dodgers.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Maybe Dodgers, Yankees flip-flop 4-5 depending on the day, depending on who's pitching and what they're doing.
My top 5 is probably Houston, Nationals. We agree there. You can't go wrong with Cleveland. Can't go wrong with a Kluber, Carrasco, Bauer, Tomlin, Clevenger. And I know I'm missing somebody there as well. I'm gonna go with a wild card right now. With no pun intended, but I'm gonna go with a wild card right now. Angels, and that's not me being biased. I really think Angels have a pretty decent rotation now. They have a lot of options, and I'll go with. I'm gonna go with the Dodgers, but that's me saying that with them getting Chris Archer.
Okay. You
And
feel like
if they got Chris Archer, they'd probably be battling for the third spot in that list.
do you feel like we're shortcutting or undercutting Chicago?
Oh, I didn't say Chicago, huh? Yeah, I have to. I forgot about.
You
Chicago.
got to put Chicago in there.
Yeah, Chicago's my
You gotta-
number 4. Chicago's my
Number
number 4,
'Cause,
and
like,
then the Angels number 5.
Hendricks, Lester, Yu Darvish in 3.
Yeah, Quintana, and then Chatwood.
That's pretty solid. Like
Yeah,
Chatwood's your easy outing. I mean, maybe Quintana. Like we were talking earlier, like Quintana doesn't really scare me. Like he'll strike your ass out a lot, but he
Yeah.
could get beat up. He could get banged around a little bit.
Yeah,
But, I
and-
mean, top 3: Lester, Hendricks, you.
That's a good top 3. And Chatwood doesn't really scare me, but you got to think Chatwood was the Rockies' ace a couple years ago, last year, before he got traded to Chicago. So that's an ace that's a number 1 that you have in your number 5. So that's a pretty stacked rotation as well.
I'm pumped, dude.
They're my number 4.
Baseball's back.
I know. I love it. There's
Baseball's back.
so much more to talk about now. I love
Hell yeah. So talking best rotations. Let's expand this a little bit. Let's talk best teams, Joe. Let's go like sport by sport, and we know there's no definite reason, but let's just rattle off some like dominant teams in each league. I don't really honestly NFL's tough, so I think we might skip NFL because NFL's really
Well, we could go like best like stacked defenses or stacked offenses. That's
I
just
guess
hard
we could.
though.
Well, let's start with the NHL. We were talking about this a little bit before. We have a clear cut NHL.
Yeah,
like
there's-
what the f was this team like? How did this even happen? Okay,
Right. There's no doubt in either one of our minds that the greatest NHL team ever assembled is the 2002 Red Wings. Absolutely murderer's row lineup. I have no idea how this lineup was even assembled or how the league even allowed this lineup, but it was stupid good.
the
Rattle 'em off.
2002
Rattle 'em
the
off.
2002 Detroit Red Wings, the Stanley Cup champions. Steve Yzerman, Igor Larionov, Pavel Datsyuk, Chris Draper, Sergei Fedorov, Brendan Shanahan, Brett Hull, Kirk Maltby, Luke Robitaille, Thomas Holmstrom, Yuri Fisher, Nicholas Lidstrom, Chris Chelios, Manny Legacy, and the Dominator, Dominic Hasek.
That's such
1, 2, 3,
insane-
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I think a good handful of those are probably like 6 or 7 are probably in the Hall of Fame, but 12 off the top of my head probably could be Hall of Famers.
Yeah, for sure. Datsuk will end up in the Hall of Fame.
Datsuk will be in the Hall of Fame. Yzerman, I don't know if Yzerman's in it yet.
I don't know, yeah.
Fedorov, I think is. Luke Robitaille, I'm not sure is yet. Brett Hull, I believe is. Shanahan, I'm not sure. Lidstrom will be.
Chelios has got to be.
Got to be. Like
Shanahan's got to be.
Yeah, like off the top of my head, I'm not a Hall of Fame buff, but what these guys were ridiculous.
That would smash any team probably in any era. I can't think of a team that could go up against them that they would lose to.
And the fact that they played the Carolina Hurricanes in the 2002 Stanley Cup Finals. The goalie for the Hurricanes, Artis Urbe.
I have no idea who that is.
Exactly.
Their captain, though, who was their captain, the Hurricanes, at the time?
Was that back when Brindamore was their captain?
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know if he was. I know he was their captain when they won it, when Justin Williams was there, but I don't know if he was their captain that season.
Huh. All right, so yeah, clear-cut fans, no doubt in our minds, Detroit Red Wings of 2002, greatest hockey team ever assembled.
There's no... Who are you gonna put? Like, okay, there's some older ones. I mean, you got the Mark Messier, Wayne Gretzky Oiler teams with Semenkov, stuff like that.
I'd be interested to look at some of the old Pittsburgh Penguins teams with Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah,
that's one we didn't look at.
Those are just like a handful. I rattled off 12 guys.
Yeah, there's no doubt this is the best team ever.
That's two and almost a half a line of ridiculous players.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. That's insanely good. The sport that we're going to have a little bit of a debate on is basketball, because there has been so many good super teams out there. Go ahead.
The thing with basketball too is there's only 5 of them.
Right, exactly. So it's a lot easier to make a super team. So, off the top of your head, what's the best basketball team ever assembled? But not ever assembled. What's the best basketball team assembled from like 2000 and on?
Well, I mean, you can't. So
that means we cut out the 98 Bulls.
Yeah, you cut out Pippen, Rodman, and Jordan.
Right. That team also had Steve Kerr too, if I remember correctly.
That's right. Yeah, Steve Kerr shooting threes. Apparently, Steve Kerr would get it like
and
MJ would get in fights with Steve Kerr all the time.
Yeah, their personalities really did not click.
I mean, you can't go wrong with what year was it? What year was it the Warriors set the wins record? Went 72 or 73-9.
2 seasons
2 years ago, so 2015 season, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that. But like my thing is, it's okay, so they have the number association. They went out and got Kevin Durant. Like, I know they also lost a couple pieces. They lost like some good defensive pieces, but as a talent-wise, like this year's Warriors team, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Iguodala. Like, those are 5 superstars.
Yeah, that you're definitely right there. And it's just really hard to say that's the greatest team ever assembled. I mean, from 2000 on, yeah, you make a good case. That probably is. But it's really hard to put them in the ever case because it's present time. And how do you say this team right now is the greatest team of all time? Like, it's just kind of hard to say that.
And plus, the game's so different than basketball back in the day. Like, I guarantee if you were to stack up, like you brought up the Lakers, was it the 2002 Lakers? Karl Malone, Shaq, and Kobe?
I'll tell you right now exactly what year it was.
And I feel like, dude, you stack up almost any one of Shaq's teams. He eats against these guys.
Yeah.
Most dominant player ever. He posts up and would murk anybody that comes on the floor with him.
So here's the Lakers lineup 2003-2004. Kobe Bryant, Brian Cook, Derek Fisher, Rick Fox, Devin George, Horace Grant, Karl Malone, Slava Medvedenko, Shaquille O'Neal, Gary Payton, Kareem Rush, Byron Russell, Jamal Sampson, and Luke Walton. That's a solid team. And how did they not win the championship?
They ran into Sheed, bro, and Billups in Detroit.
Jesus.
Chauncey. And then and then you could talk about D Wade, LeBron, Chris Bosh down in Miami. Probably like one of the original like big threes, I guess you could say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What about this, dude? What about this? Those old Oklahoma City, not old, but a few years ago, Oklahoma City. They had Durant, they had Westbrook, and they had Harden all on the same team. Dude. And I'm pretty sure they drafted all three of those guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Russ and KD were a part of the team. Maybe not KD, maybe not Russ, but they were part of the team when they were in Seattle, the Supersonics, like the last year. I think
Russ wasn't.
Russ was, but KD was.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah,
I think he's like the very last.
I've seen pictures of him in it.
Right.
But yeah, dude. So the Oklahoma City with James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant are like that. It's like the scenario when you have a girlfriend in middle school or high school and you break up with her because it's like, oh, it's not worth my time. She's not even that hot. And then you run into her in college and you're like, damn, 10 out of 10. And now, but instead, you got all these superstars spread out all over the league. You got James Harden going off in Houston. You got KD winning championships in Golden State, and you got Russ just still stuck in middle school somewhere. Like he's like the guy that didn't move away after high school.
Yeah, but his home that in his high school town is pretty still good.
Yeah, he runs the town. He's like he's the jock that didn't leave, and he's just still running everything.
Yeah,
he's like, oh yeah, that's Russ. I'm a regular at the Applebee's. Everybody knows me.
I mean,
in Oklahoma City.
You look at the Oklahoma City's roster right now. It's still pretty good. It's Russ. It's Carmelo. It's Paul George. It's who else on that team? There is
well, Andre Robertson was good, but he's injured now. You got Steven Adams.
Yeah,
Steven Adams. He's not gonna amaze you, but he's a good big man. He's really good.
Yeah, he's solid underneath the hoop for sure. But just those three. I mean, that's a really dynamic three.
If
Westbrook,
Boogie
Carmelo.
Cousins, if Boogie wasn't hurt and he was still in the lineup with Anthony Davis, you would have Anthony Davis, Boogie, Jrue Holiday, and Nikola Mirotic. That's a good lineup.
That team that they assembled up in Boston is pretty solid too. Kyrie, Gordon Hayward, Tatum. Well, if Gordon Hayward obviously was healthy.
You know, dude, I read a report. His ankle is still like bruised and purple.
Really?
Yeah, apparently like a couple people saw it at All-Star Weekend, still bruised and purple in areas. I mean, I get it. Like it was a horrific injury. Like his foot was falling off his leg.
Right.
But I'm like, dude, that's been like it was in October,
6
first
months?
game of the season.
Yeah, 5 months,
dude.
some of that.
Like, whoa. That's crazy.
I didn't know Paul George from Palmdale.
He went to high school with my roommate.
Really?
Swear to God, my buddy, my roommate, friend from college, went to Palmdale. I don't know if it's Palmdale High, but he brings up because every now and then he'll hear people talking about Paul George. He's like, "Yeah, dude, it's kind of weird to hear that because like he was just like the guy that ran our school because he was really good at basketball."
And Russell Westbrook's from Long Beach. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, you at UCLA?
Yeah, I don't know where he went to college or to high school though. Something to look up. Westbrook High School. But anyways, so you're saying that Golden State Warriors right now is the best team ever assembled, or not ever assembled, but assembled from 2000 and on.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for me to say too because it's like it's the Bay Area. I hate the Bay Area, and I don't know. Basketball is definitely not my like forte when it comes to history and stuff and just stack up wise. But you can't deny like the level of talent these guys have.
Yeah,
and honestly, dude, this year's Rockets. We didn't even talk about this year's Rockets. James Harden, CP3. I mean, and they're killing it with really just like kind of they're the 3-ball team. It's Chris Paul, James Harden, and then a bunch of guys that chuck up threes.
Yeah.
Trevor Ariza, Eric Gordon, Ryan Anderson. Oh, wait, no, Gordon's not even on the team anymore.
We haven't even mentioned. I mean, maybe you did, and I just wasn't paying attention. Any of those Heat teams down there with LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh. Yeah. I mean, what about that team with D Wade and Shaq? Well, that team was pretty loaded too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good, dude.
Basketball is probably the one sport that has the most like super teams.
Oh yeah, because they have so many few positions and they're just filled to the rim with talent.
Right.
Like you have studs, multiple studs on every team.
Baseball's kind of hard too to say what was the best team ever assembled. That's really tough. I mean, you look at maybe like in the 1990s, like the Braves teams with Chipper Jones and David Justice, or maybe here's a good one, like the late 1990s, early 2000s Cleveland Indians teams. They had Manny Ramirez and Jim Thome and Kenny Lofton and Carlos Baerga, Sandy Alomar, Roberto Alomar. That was a pretty good stretch run for the Cleveland Indians.
What about like the early 2000 Yankees?
That too. I mean, that's more. I think that those were teams that just clicked on every level because there's no really any like superstars. I mean, of course, Derek Jeter.
We talked about this before. That's what I feel like the Kings were when they won the Cups. Remember? Because you said like they were stacked. I'm like, not really. We knew how to win with our team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, nobody's going to go break the bank for Willie Mitchell, Rob Scuderi, Trevor Lewis. They did for Mike Richards. But it's like we had just had a bunch of guys that knew how to work together and we knew how to play to win.
Yeah. I think that's exactly how like the late 90s, early 2000 Yankees were. I mean, you had guys on the team like David Wells, David Cone, Paul O'Neill, Tino Martinez, Jorge Posada. Like you had some guys, but nothing really like crazy. You had Scott Brocious playing third.
Yeah, Scott Brocious. I'm totally acting like I know who that is. Scott Brocious, dude. If you're listening to Scott Brocious, you're a bum.
Bernie Williams played center field. I mean,
was Damon
Scott
Damon
Brocious? Scott Brocious is not a bum. He hit a game-tying home run off of what was the guy's name in Diamondbacks 2001? Shun Yun Kim.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he did. Sure did. Okay, let's do. So we talked about James Harden. So James Harden was a.
Before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to In the Wheelhouse podcast with Eric and Joe. At ITWH Pod is our Twitter handle. Go follow us. Go have a listen to all our podcasts.
Listen, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Leave a review, talk crap.
Whatever you want.
Just as long as you review it.
But back to James Harden.
Okay, so James Harden was the talk of the town, the sports world in the last 24 hours. He was the highlight of the night, you could say. Houston Rockets taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. And he should have been booked for murder because he put Wesley Johnson of the Los Angeles Clippers in a body bag. James Harden crossed over Wesley Johnson. Wesley Johnson broke his ankle, fell to the ground. James Harden stepped back, paused, stared at Wesley Johnson, waited for Wesley Johnson to stand up before he sank the three, swish, in front of Wesley Johnson's face. So this got me thinking at work today. Joe, would you rather get crossed over like James Harden did to Wesley Johnson, fall to the floor, totally humiliating moment? You've seen the videos at the basketball gyms. Everybody goes crazy, laughing at you. You know the focal point and the laughter is at you. Sinks a three, humiliating moment. Or would you rather get dunked on, posterized by somebody? And also, very humiliating moment. Everybody's laughing at you because you just got humiliated and dunked on. Would you rather get crossed over or get put on a poster by somebody playing basketball?
All right, so before I answer this, I just watched the James Harden crossover again.
Oh, my God.
Do you know that...
It's so disrespectful.
When he crossed him over and when he's looking at him, he licked his lips. It was like... and then drains the 3. Amazing.
Dude, the whole play is just disrespectful. The bench getting up and cheering, waiting for him to stand up before he takes the shot and then draining it over him.
Yeah.
Like James Harden is Wesley Johnson's mom now. He owns him. He owns him.
So back to your question. I would much rather probably get crossed over because both of them are very embarrassing issues or embarrassing plays for you. One, you fall down, you look like you're clumsy, you look like a baby deer, and you just break your ankles. The other one, you have the potential of getting like a man's parts slapped up in your face.
Exactly, dude.
And that,
I'm right
I don't
there
want
with you.
that. I don't want to be anywhere near that. So I'd much rather get crossed up and fall down on my face and then try to play it off a little bit.
I'm right there with you, dude. If I were to get crossed over, because I'm the same thing. I don't want somebody going up, dunking on me, getting their genitalia rubbed on me in places. On top of it, basketball is like a really up close and personal sport, and these guys sweat.
Absolutely,
so
they do.
He's coming down, so you're getting man sweat all up on your face, probably all up on you, wherever you're getting dunked on.
Yep.
If I get crossed over, I could play it off like my shoe was untied.
Yeah.
Hey, towel boy, you missed a wet spot. Like, I could totally try to play it off. It'll probably be pretty obvious that I'm lying my face off.
Or even,
but I can
even do like the stupid like fall down and start doing push-ups type of thing, you know?
just totally try to like I'd play it up like I'd cross my arms like Dracula, like totally play it off like I got murdered. Like, well, I'm done. My career's over.
Or start complaining that your ankles hurt and get the trainer out there.
I was like, oh, dude, see, I rolled it this morning. It just it's not holding up. But yeah, I would take that 100 times before I get dunked on and have a guy go up and dunk on me. Hell no.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So when you told me you wanted to play this game before we started recording, the one that popped into my head is, would you rather be the batter right before a brawl started, or be the pitcher that started the brawl?
Ooh, so do I get to? So I bean somebody, right? This is the scenario. I bean somebody,
right? So your coach tells you out there, like, we need you to go retaliate on this team, and you hit him, or being the batter going like, I know they're going to retaliate right now.
So you're it's about to go down. Which one do I want to be?
Yeah,
I want to be. I want to be the pitcher because I feel like the pitcher has the most chance at being successful because he has the dead look. He sees who's coming. The batter has somebody come from behind him.
Yeah.
Pitcher has 5 or 6 guys behind him. But
see, I'd probably want to be the pitcher too because I'll be honest with you, I don't want to get hit by a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Plain and simple.
True.
Plain and simple.
Does a batter have the advantage in that situation? Seeing that the pitcher has to like kind of fumble with his glove and try to get it off real quick?
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, then again, they're not really on too tight most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, you could take that off really easily.
One of my favorite things about baseball fights is the initial contacts there between the batter and pitcher, and then it's just like a
dog pile. Yeah.
A wave of everybody getting there, and then it's just madness. And then most of the time, the two guys that were fighting end up on the outside.
Yeah.
And all the teams are still fighting.
It's like, so there's been some pretty good initial contacts between batter and pitcher, but then there's been some pretty bad ones too, where like
when Bryce Harper threw his threw the glove at
the helmet. He threw his helmet.
Yeah, he just totally whiffed it.
Yeah,
ended up in outfield.
What was it? Hunter Strickland? Was it Hunter Strickland? I think
Hunter Strickland was holding like a 3-year grudge against him for some reason.
Well, because he went yard on him like in 2 playoff games in a row or something like that.
Yeah, I think I'd want to be the pitcher.
I agree.
I think you dictate a lot of that. Okay, sticking with baseball, Joe. Would you want to be the player to hit the home run or the player to rob the home run?
Rob,
me too.
Easy. Growing up playing baseball, still playing softball, I would much rather make a great play on defensive side of the ball than hit a home run. And the reason why is because home runs, unless you're hitting like a 900-foot home run, they're a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? Great plays are remembered. Like a home run, all right, take it this way. If you're up to bat and you hit a home run, yes, it's great. You made the box score. But if you make a great diving play, that play's probably going to get replayed more than a handful of times, and probably for a lot longer if it's even better than just if it's like a spectacular play. You know what I mean? It'll get played even more.
Yeah, when you hit a home run, you see the swing in a highlight reel. When you make a diving catch or a home run robbery, like you're a highlight reel on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I would totally I would totally take robbing a home run than hitting a home run.
But the feeling of hitting a home run is much better than the feeling of making a great catch, if that makes any sense.
See, I've never played in a league so I stopped playing like organized baseball in middle school, went to hockey. So I was never in a league where I could hit a home run over a fence and like do the trot.
Uh-huh.
So I've always been home runs where I have to sprint, where I'm like running the bases and I can never really enjoy it. So I'm just worried about getting around the bases, don't trip, and don't hit third base. The third base coach come around the corner. I've never been able to do the home run trot.
It's awesome. It's a great feeling.
How many home runs did you hit in high school?
In high school? I hit 2 in high school.
2?
Yeah.
How many did you hit like a season in softball?
Oh.
Hellos count, man.
Now or like 4 years ago? Because there's a difference.
Your peak season, what was your highest home run total?
Probably like 2 a game.
Jesus. Power. Chicks dig the long ball.
Oh man. But yeah, I'd much rather make a defensive play than hit a home run.
Nice, man. You're a team player. I like that.
So I'm gonna bring it back to hockey then.
Okay.
Would you rather be the guy who scores the game-winning goal in a shootout, or the goalie that saves the game-winning shot in a shootout? It might be a little difficult because you don't really have any experience playing goalie. I mean, neither do I, but
I would. Okay, so here's the thing. So when you say this, the first things that come to my mind that is playing the biggest factor, because we're winning either way, right, is the celebration.
Uh-huh.
And as a goalie, I've always wanted to do the blind man celebration after a shootout win, where block the shot. Hopefully it's a 6 save. Guy skates away, upset, throw the jersey over your head, stick upside down, tapping the floor like a blind man walking. Just so I could do that. in the shootout.
See,
I mean,
the thing
goal celebrations in the shootout are a dime a dozen. If you're a goalie, I would love just to humiliate the guy. I would have to do something outlandish.
Yeah, I think that's me too. If I was a goalie and I made some 6 save or a game-winning save, the celebration will get played forever. Because, like you said, a goal celebration is a dime a dozen. You don't see goalie celebrations ever. But the thing that comes to my mind when I ask that question is you're in a shootout and just doing some insane dangle and just bar down ski on the goalie, totally like Datsuk the guy and get him falling the other way.
There's advantages to both of this. Like, I would love just to humiliate the skater if I'm the goalie with some just crazy over the top like celebration, like, whoa, that's a goalie. You don't really see that too much. But then at the same time, there's something about just deking a goalie out of his pads, dude, or just coming down and ripping a slap shot from like top circles, just a dink, and just taking off your gloves, leave them on the blue line, get off the ice. Just
that would be sick if you came down on a shootout and just slap shot top shelf and just put your stick and glove down and like even put like your helmet down and just like skated off the ice. Didn't high five anybody and just skated away.
Gone. Thanks for the 2 points. See you later.
Those are always my favorite celebrations. And when like when someone hit like a game winning shot in basketball, when they shoot it and they just like run off,
run
the
out
court.
of the tunnel, run out of the tunnel.
Those
We're
are
gone.
great.
We're gone, just running.
Those are so good. I think who just did it? Oh, when they did it in Minnesota against
that's right. Stephon Diggs. He ran and he ran to the end zone and he got tackled into the tunnel by his team. Everybody just tackled him and he ended up in the tunnel.
Yeah, that was a good celebration.
So yeah, that's good. I like that we took some team aspects. So it doesn't sound like we're too full of ourselves and big headed. We're thinking about the overall good of the team and the win. We're good team players. Anybody looking for softball players? Joe's good at it. Anybody looking for hockey players? I'm all right, I guess. Joe hits bombs. Until next week, guys. We'll have, I don't know, what more baseball talks, maybe some NFL, maybe a little hockey, maybe a little more. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hockey season's coming to an end here. Playoff races starting. Hopefully the Kings land themselves a playoff spot. They're right now in third in the Pacific, so they're looking pretty good.
Two big wins over the Knights.
Losing right
came
now,
back
though,
from
right?
being they came back from being down 2-0 against the Blue Jackets. Now it's 2-2 in the third.
Oh, perfect.
So
Hopefully,
we got a game to go watch.
Hopefully they can get that big win because they need to make this last push, and they made a few moves this around trade deadline that hopefully is going to help them out. Going out there and getting Phaneuf and Ryder. Is it Ryder or Rearder?
Ryder. I've heard it pronounced multiple ways.
Yeah,
the dude's fast.
He is. He's very fast.
He's really fast.
And Jeff Carter coming back is like the best trade they could possibly have done.
Yeah, they had a built-in trade deadline move built in from the beginning of the season when Jeff Carter went down in like game 6 or something. Like they had a built-in acquisition whenever he got back. So hopefully he can find his rhythm. Hopefully the Kings can pull it out.
Yes. So hopefully next week we have some good things to say about the Kings.
Definitely. Until next time,
everyone,
see you later, guys.
Enjoy spring training. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good day. And Jerry DePoto, shut up. Turn your mic off. I hate you, Jerry DePoto.
Thanks.
Skoo.